We live in a time when the mind never stops. While the body is here, the thoughts are scattered in 1,000 directions. We think about what we said yesterday, worry about what might happen tomorrow, and rarely allow ourselves to simply be now. It's in this space between what was and what will be that anxiety is born. It is not an enemy, but a signal that the mind has drifted away from presence, trying to control what cannot be controlled. Monks understood this centuries ago. They don't try to defeat anxiety. They observe it. They breathe with it. They let the mind speak. And then, in silence, they teach it to rest. What seems like weakness to the world, for them, is wisdom. Because while everyone searches for answers outside, the monk turns inward. And in this return, he finds mastery. Not the mastery of someone who controls everything, but of one who understands what controls him. Today, I will share with you 7 practices that monks use every day to transform anxiety into serenity. 7 simple paths that don't require temples or vows, only presence and intention. Each of these practices was created to remind you of something essential. The peace you are looking for is not gone. It's simply hidden beneath the noise of the mind. Take a deep breath, be silent for a moment, and allow yourself to learn what silence has to teach you. Before we begin, write in the comments, what is your biggest source of anxiety today? Speaking about it is the first step toward freeing yourself from it. Practice 1. The conscious breathing. An anxious mind is a restless mind, always moving faster than the body can follow. When the mind runs too far ahead, it drags the breath with it, making it shallow, rushed, and weak. That's why monks say, the breath is the bridge between the body and the mind. When you learn to breathe consciously, you begin to return home. In the monastery, every lesson begins with breathing. Before speaking, before meditating, before working, we breathe. Not to fill the lungs, but to awaken presence. Because when you breathe with awareness, the present moment becomes undeniable. Most people breathe as if they are being chased by time. They inhale without noticing. They exhale without releasing. Their breath is a reflection of their anxiety, tight, hurried, incomplete. But when you slow down and begin to feel the breath moving through you, something subtle happens. The mind obeys, the body softens, and a small quiet space appears between one thought and another. That space is peace, and it has always been there. Here is a simple exercise monks use every morning. Breathe in deeply through your nose for 4 seconds. Hold it gently for 4 seconds. Exhale slowly through your mouth for 4 seconds. And then rest, without forcing, without expectation, for another 4 seconds. Repeat this rhythm 7 times. This is called the cycle of stillness. With each breath, notice the air entering you like light, cleansing your chest, softening your muscles, slowing your thoughts. Let every exhale carry away what no longer belongs to you. Tension, fear, control. Because control is not peace, surrender is. The more you practice conscious breathing, the more you'll realize that anxiety doesn't live in the future. It lives in your disconnection from the present. And the present always begins with a single breath. When you feel overwhelmed, return to the breath. When thoughts become storms, return to the breath. When nothing seems under control, return to the breath. You will find that what changes your life is not a great revelation, but something you've been doing since the moment you were born. Breathing. You just need to do it consciously. Practice 2. The daily silence. Silence is not the absence of sound. It is the presence of peace. In the monastery, silence is not a punishment or a rule. It is a path, a way to return to yourself when the world becomes too loud. Every morning before the sun rises, monks walk through the temple in complete silence. You can hear the sound of sandals on stone, the wind through the trees, the breath of life itself. It's in those moments that the mind begins to calm down, not because the world has stopped making noise, but because you have stopped reacting to it. Modern life fears silence. We fill every gap with noise, music, conversations, notifications, endless screens. We are surrounded by sound, but starving for stillness. That's why anxiety thrives, because when there is no silence, there is no space to listen. Monks practice silence not to escape life, but to see it more clearly. When the mouth is quiet, the mind begins to speak, and at first what it says can be uncomfortable: fears, regrets, confusion. But as you continue listening without judgment, something begins to shift. You stop identifying with every thought. You start observing, and through observation, peace appears. Here is how you can bring this practice into your life. Each day, choose 10 minutes to be completely silent. Turn off every device. Sit, breathe, and allow the world to continue without your participation. Don't try to control your thoughts. Just witness them pass, like clouds moving across the sky. At first, your mind will resist. It will shout, whisper, demand attention. But if you stay still long enough, its voice begins to fade, and beneath it you will find something ancient and steady: your inner stillness. Silence is the training ground of the soul. It teaches you that you don't need to respond to everything you hear, think, or feel. You learn that peace is not given by the world. It's grown from within. Make silence your companion, not your escape. Even in the noise of daily life, you can carry this quiet presence with you, in your breath, in your tone, in your eyes. Because when the heart is silent, even chaos sounds like harmony. Practice 3. The mindful attention to simple actions. Anxiety is born when the mind lives everywhere except where the body is. You're eating, but your mind is already thinking about the next task. You're walking, but your thoughts are running to tomorrow. You're with someone you love, but part of you is somewhere else. Monks discovered that peace doesn't come from escaping daily life. It comes from fully living it. That's why they turn every action into a practice of mindfulness. Cooking, cleaning, walking, even drinking tea becomes sacred, because it is done with complete attention. To an outsider, this might seem meaningless. How can washing a bowl be a spiritual act? But to the monk, it is in that simplicity that the soul rests. When your hands are washing the dish and your mind is simply feeling the water, the temperature, the motion, you are not in the past nor the future. You are fully here. And where you are fully present, anxiety cannot exist. Try this. Choose one simple activity you do every day. Washing dishes, brushing your teeth, walking to work, making coffee. Do it with total attention. Notice the sounds, the sensations, the small details you usually ignore. Feel the movement of your body and the rhythm of your breath. If your mind starts to wander, bring it back gently. Do not judge, do not rush, just return. That act of returning again and again is the essence of mindfulness. When monks sweep the floor, they say, "We are sweeping the mind." Every gesture becomes a way to clean the dust of distraction. The result is not perfection, but peace, the kind of peace that grows from presence. The world tries to convince you that happiness is in the next achievement, the next destination, the next version of yourself. But monks know that peace is not at the end of the path. It is the path. It's hidden inside the smallest moments, waiting for your awareness to awaken it. So today, whatever you do, do it slowly. Do it as if it were your first time. Do it as if the entire universe were watching through your eyes. Because the truth is, it is. And in that awareness, the ordinary becomes divine. Practice 4. The detachment from control. Most of human anxiety comes from one simple illusion: the belief that we can control everything. We plan every detail, predict every outcome, and still feel restless when life refuses to obey our plans. The more we try to control, the less peace we have, because control doesn't bring safety, it brings tension. Monks learn early that peace begins where control ends. In the monastery, we accept that the rain may fall during meditation, that the bell may ring early, that silence may be broken by a child's laughter. Instead of resisting what happens, we learn to bow to it, to flow with life, not against it. Letting go does not mean giving up. It means recognizing that not everything belongs to you, and that's a form of freedom. When you release your grip on what you cannot change, you open space for serenity to enter. Think of life as a river. You can try to hold the water in your hands, but the tighter you squeeze, the faster it escapes. The monk doesn't fight the current, he becomes the current. Here's a reflection you can practice. When something doesn't go your way, pause. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" ask, "What is this moment teaching me?" This small shift in perspective turns chaos into wisdom. Every morning, monks recite a simple truth. Everything that comes, comes for a reason. Everything that goes, goes in peace. That phrase is not resignation, it's trust. Trust that life is not happening against you, but through you. Control feeds fear, surrender feeds peace. When you stop trying to control the world, you begin to control your reactions to it. That's where real mastery begins, not over circumstances, but over the self. Letting go is an act of courage. It takes strength to stop fighting with what is and to begin dancing with it instead. Because peace doesn't belong to those who dominate life, it belongs to those who cooperate with it. So the next time anxiety rises because something didn't happen the way you expected, breathe, loosen your grip, and remember, you don't have to hold the universe together. It already knows how to stay whole. Practice 5. The morning prayer or meditation. The way you begin your morning shapes the entire rhythm of your day. Most people wake up and immediately open their phones, step into noise, and invite the world to tell them who they are. Monks do the opposite. Before touching anything, we touch silence. Before speaking, we listen. Before asking for anything, we give thanks. In the monastery, mornings are sacred. The bell rings before sunrise, not to command, but to awaken the spirit. The air is cool, the world still half asleep, and in that quiet hour, the heart is open. This is the time when monks pray or meditate, not to escape the world, but to align with it. Prayer and meditation are two doors that lead to the same room. Inner stillness. Prayer speaks, meditation listens. Prayer lifts your heart toward the divine. Meditation allows the divine to enter. When combined, they become the perfect balance between surrender and awareness. You can create your own morning ritual, even outside a monastery. Before you check your phone, before you rush into the day, sit for 5 minutes. Close your eyes. Breathe deeply. Whisper a simple sentence of gratitude. Thank you for another day of life. May I walk it with peace. If you prefer meditation, just sit in silence and observe your breath. Let thoughts come and go without judgment. Imagine each breath as a wave cleansing the shore of your mind. If a worry appears, don't fight it. Watch it dissolve with the next exhale. Monks believe that a day that begins in peace rarely ends in chaos. When the mind is aligned with gratitude, even challenges lose their sharpness. The world may still move fast, but you'll walk through it slowly with clarity and grace. Morning prayer or meditation is not about perfection. It's about remembering who you are before the noise begins. It's a moment to root yourself in stillness before the storms of the day. So tomorrow, before the sun rises, give yourself those first few minutes of sacred silence. They will guide the rest of your hours like a candle lighting the path. Because peace isn't something you find during the day. It's something you plant at dawn. Practice 6. The care for the body. In the monastery, the body is not seen as separate from the spirit. It is the vessel through which awareness moves, the temple where the sacred resides. To neglect the body is to disturb the balance of the mind. That's why monks treat their bodies with discipline, respect, and gentleness, not out of vanity, but out of devotion. When you are anxious, notice what happens to your body. The shoulders tighten, the stomach knots, the breath shortens. Your body becomes a mirror of your thoughts. And just as the mind affects the body can also calm the mind. Monks understand this connection deeply. Every morning, we stretch, we walk, we breathe. These are not workouts. They are rituals of harmony. Each movement is performed slowly, as if in conversation with life itself. The purpose is not to strengthen muscles, but to awaken presence. The same principle applies to food. Monks eat in silence, tasting every bite as a prayer. They eat simply, enough to nourish but never to numb. Because every excess, whether of food or thought, creates noise inside. Try this in your own life. When you eat, eat only. When you walk, walk only. When you rest, rest completely. You will notice that anxiety fades when you stop fragmenting your attention. Caring for your body also means honoring its rhythm. Sleep when you are tired. Breathe when you are tense. Don't treat exhaustion as a badge of honor. It's a call to return to balance. The modern world teaches us to push the body until it breaks, and then to medicate the pain. The monk learns the opposite, to listen before it hurts. Because pain ignored becomes suffering, pain understood becomes wisdom. The next time you feel anxious, place your hand on your chest and feel your heartbeat. It's not mechanical, it's sacred. It's a reminder that peace is not something to chase, but something already pulsing within you. Your body is not your enemy. It's your ally on this spiritual path. When you care for it, you honor the life that flows through it. And when the body is calm, the mind naturally follows. As the monks say, the soul breathes through the body. Keep it clean, keep it still, and peace will live within. Practice 7. Forgiveness and compassion. Anxiety often hides behind unhealed wounds. Words we never said, apologies we never gave, love we withheld. When the heart carries too much pain, the mind cannot rest. That is why monks say, peace does not enter a closed heart. Forgiveness is not about pretending nothing happened. It's about releasing the weight that pain left behind. You don't forgive to approve what was done, you forgive to set yourself free. In the monastery, forgiveness is seen as an inner cleansing. Each evening, monks bow before the altar and reflect on their day. Did I speak with kindness? Did I react with anger? Did I cause pain to others or to myself? Then, in silence, they whisper, "May all beings, including myself, be forgiven and at peace." This simple act resets the heart before sleep. Compassion grows from the same soil. To be compassionate is to see that everyone, even those who hurt you, is fighting a battle you cannot see. Their actions come from fear, confusion, or pain. When you understand that, the desire for revenge turns into empathy, and empathy is the bridge that ends inner war. Try this practice. Close your eyes. Picture someone who has caused you pain. Breathe in deeply and say within yourself, "May you find peace." Then imagine someone you love and repeat the same words. Finally, imagine yourself, your mistakes, your regrets, and whisper, "May I be forgiven. May I be free." Forgiveness is not a moment, it's a journey. You may have to repeat it many times before your heart finally lets go. But every time you try, the chain grows weaker. And one day, it breaks. Compassion also means turning that gentleness toward yourself. Stop punishing yourself for who you were when you didn't know better. You cannot heal by hating the person you used to be. You heal by loving that person enough to help them evolve. When the heart forgives, the mind finds peace. When the heart shows compassion, anxiety loses its power. Because a heart that loves, even after pain, becomes untouchable. As monks say, forgive not because they deserve peace, but because you do. And once forgiveness lives in you, serenity follows like a shadow that never leaves. You have now walked through the 7 practices that monks use to master anxiety, not by fighting it, but by transforming it into peace. These teachings are not theories. They are living paths, tested by centuries of silence, observation, and compassion. And today, they belong to you too. The first practice, conscious breathing, taught you that peace begins with something as simple as a breath. Each inhale invites life in. Each exhale releases what you no longer need. When you control your breath, you calm your mind. When you forget to breathe deeply, the world feels heavy again. So return to the breath. It is always your way home. The second practice, daily silence, showed you that silence is not emptiness. It's the space where clarity lives. When you stop reacting to every sound, thought, or emotion, you begin to listen to the deeper voice inside, the one that knows you are safe even when the world is loud. The third practice, mindful attention to simple actions, reminded you that the sacred hides inside the ordinary. Walking, washing, eating. These are not distractions from spirituality. They are the doorways to it. When you do one thing with full presence, anxiety disappears because the mind can't be anxious and present at the same time. The fourth practice, detachment from control, revealed that peace begins when control ends. Life was never meant to be controlled, only understood. Every moment, whether joyful or painful, carries wisdom if you're willing to let go and trust its purpose. The monk's peace is not in mastering life, but in cooperating with it. The fifth practice, morning prayer or meditation, taught you that each dawn is a chance to begin again. Before you open your phone, open your heart. Start your day in gratitude and silence, and the rest of your hours will follow the tone you set in those sacred first moments. The sixth practice, care for the body, reminded you that your body is not an obstacle to spirituality. It's the doorway to it. The way you breathe, eat, and rest shapes the way you think and feel. A tense body cannot hold a peaceful mind. So treat your body as the temple it is, not out of pride, but out of reverence. And the seventh practice, forgiveness and compassion, showed you that no peace is possible while your heart carries stones of resentment. Forgiveness does not change the past, it transforms the weight of it. Compassion turns wounds into wisdom, pain into strength, and anger into understanding. If any of these practices touched your heart, take a moment to pause this video, breathe, and write in the comments, "I choose peace today." Let those words be your first step toward the stillness you deserve. Remember, mastery over anxiety does not come from avoiding life. It comes from understanding it. It's not about removing challenges, but about walking through them with grace, presence, and love. You don't need a monastery to find peace. You only need awareness and the courage to return to yourself again and again. So tonight, when the noise of the world fades and you're alone with your thoughts, don't run from the silence. Breathe into it. It is not emptiness, it's your truest home. As monks say, when you master your mind, you master your world. And perhaps now you understand. Peace was never something to be found. It was always something to be remembered.